At 12:25 p.m. at a warehouse on an ordinary workday, a 44-year-old roofer was cleaning up pieces of old roofing next to a loading dock, while a coworker repositioned a large roll-off container on a truck. The team gave a thumbs up to say the area was clear. Seconds later, the container moved. The roofer was trapped between steel and concrete. He did not survive. This is a real workplace accident, reconstructed from official investigation records. You're listening to Workday Gone Wrong, Case 001, Roll-Off Container Crush. The man in this story worked as a roofer for a roof removal company on a warehouse project. The crew's job was to strip old roofing material from the building. The debris was collected in a large 40-yard roll-off container positioned at the loading dock. A roll-off truck was used to lift, lower, and reposition this container. One employee drove the truck. Another helped on the ground. Our roofer was working on the ground between the truck and the west wall of the warehouse, in the area around the loading dock. He was picking up pieces of roofing and clearing the ground near the spot where the container would be set down. At 12:25 p.m., the driver decided to reposition the roll-off container. He asked that the ground where the container would be placed be cleared of debris. The workers on the ground finished picking up materials and signaled the driver that the work zone was clear. What happened next turned that normal midday job into a fatal crush incident. Let's look at what happened in the moments after that thumbs up. Step 1. The position. After helping clear the ground, the roofer stays on foot near the loading dock. He is standing in the narrow corridor between the roll-off container and the warehouse wall. It is a tight space with limited room to move. Step 2. The malfunction. The driver begins the repositioning. He starts lowering the container from the truck bed toward the spot that was just cleared. But suddenly, the hook securing the container detaches. The heavy cable snaps loose. Step 3. The reset. The driver stops the operation immediately. He exits the cab, reattaches the cable and hook, and gets back in to finish the job. He engages the hydraulics to lift the container back onto the truck bed to reset the move. During this disruption, the roofer is still standing in the blind spot. Step 4. The discovery. After lifting the container, the driver steps out and walks behind the truck. In the narrow gap between the steel box and the concrete wall, he finds the roofer lying on the ground. The worker has been caught between the container and the building. He does not survive. Incidents like this are almost never just bad luck. They happen when multiple layers of protection fail at the same time. In this case, we can identify 4 distinct failures that stacked up to create a tragedy. Layer 1. The crush zone. The roofer was working in a narrow corridor between a heavy steel container and a fixed concrete wall. Safety professionals often call this a pinch point or crush zone. If that container shifts toward the wall, there is almost no room to step clear. Layer 2. Simultaneous operations. The container was being actively repositioned while a worker was still on foot in the danger zone. The rule should be simple. If the equipment is moving, nobody is in the crush zone. But here, the task of clearing debris overlapped with the task of moving the truck and container. Layer 3. The disruption. This is the critical factor. During the lowering process, the hook detached. This malfunction broke the routine. It forced the driver to stop, exit the cab, fix the cable, and reset the lift. In that moment, attention shifted to the mechanical problem. It is very easy in a situation like this for awareness of the person on foot to fade into the background. Layer 4. Ambiguous communication. A simple thumbs up is a dangerous signal. It is informal and open to interpretation. One person may think it means the debris is gone. Another may assume it means the whole area is safe to move. It only takes one small movement of the container to turn a routine adjustment into a fatal crush. Unfortunately, this is not an isolated incident. Accident records are full of caught-between fatalities involving trucks, containers, and fixed structures. Workers have been pinned between backing vehicles and loading docks. Mechanics have been crushed against walls when dumpsters or containers shift unexpectedly. Pedestrians have been trapped between forklifts and storage racks when movement begins and there is nowhere to go. The location changes, the equipment changes, but the pattern is the same. Mobile equipment plus a fixed structure creates a crush zone. A person stands in the narrow space between the two. There is no hard rule keeping them out while the machine is in motion. And when something slips, shifts, or rolls, the person in that gap has almost no time and almost no room to escape. From this Workday Gone Wrong, several simple lessons stand out. First, treat tight gaps as forbidden zones. Any narrow space between a heavy object and a fixed structure, like a wall or a dock edge, is a no-go area whenever equipment is moving or could move. If you cannot step sideways and clear the space in a single step, you are standing in a crush zone. Second, separate movement and people. When a truck or container is being repositioned, nobody on foot should be standing close to it, especially not between the equipment and a solid wall. Clear the zone completely, then move the load. Third, make all clear specific. A vague thumbs up is not enough. Procedures must spell out exactly what that signal means. Who is the spotter? Where do they stand? Who gives the final command? If the crew does not share the same definition, the signal is useless. Fourth, assume things will fail. Hooks detach, cables slacken, loads shift. If your safety depends on the machine working perfectly, you are not safe. Plan the work so that even if something slips, you are already outside the danger zone. This didn't happen in a movie or on a stunt set. It happened at 12:25 p.m. at a real warehouse on an ordinary workday during a job the crew had done many times before. A few small assumptions. One narrow space. One shifting container. That was enough to turn a routine task into a fatal crush. If you want more real workplace accident breakdowns based on official investigation records, follow Workday Gone Wrong. Subscribe or turn on notifications and share this with someone who works around heavy equipment. Learn from their stories. Don't repeat them.